All right, so my friend Sean and I, we're going to continue to open one of each booster pack. In this second video, we're going to open Tatooine, Coruscant, Theed Palace, and then Reflections 1, 2, and 3. So I'll probably do Tatooine, Coruscant, Sean do the Theed and Reflections, and I'll close up the last two Reflections packs. I think the first box I ever bought was Tatooine. Remember, my mom took me down to a place called Baseball Card City, and I had saved up for it for quite a while. Remember getting quite a few good cards in there. Qui-Gon, Obi-Wan alternate image, maybe a regular Darth Maul, and I think between my friend Sean and I, that card Darth Maul might have changed hands a few times in a trade.
2 or 3 times.
Something like that, I'm sure. Okay. So, gosh, I think the last Tatooine pack I opened was a Jedi's Concentration on top. This is a bit of a tougher one than usual. Alright, the pack almost won, but we overcame. I think it's because I used a Jedi's Concentration. Alright, Tatooine had rule cards in it. Were you disappointed, Sean, if you got a rule card in the pack?
I never really opened enough Tatooine to...
Okay.
Yeah, I really, other than Theed Palace, I didn't do a whole lot of Episode 1.
Makes sense. Can't believe he's gone. Kind of a tough one to pull off, but using one force to basically give yourself Obi-Wan's power seems like a lot of fun. Another hard to pronounce name. I think the next one might be our rare. It's an Alien Duro. Okay, so could have been Watto, could have been Aurra Sing, but hey, it's a not too bad job. I think they virtualized him twice. So, interesting text too. If opponent initiates battle against you, if you draw a Star Destroyer from your deck to play it for free, high risk, high reward. Pod racing. Did we ever pod race?
I think you won one game and we never did it again.
Okay.
Pod racing.
It was pretty broken back then, especially if you used Watto's box with it. Adds, so it made it like a 22 force swing. Oof. Watto's Chance Cube, so Ottawa, another pod racer. Wow, a lot of good memories for Sean today with all this pod racing. And a hit racer interrupt. Very nice. So, not the best rare you're going to get in Tatooine, but hey, there's a lot of effects you could get that I already have too many of, and it's a pretty cool looking card. Thank you. Next up will be Coruscant. So a lot of good cards you can get in Coruscant. I don't know if this was the least printed set or if Theed Palace was, but I think I bought a few more packs of Coruscant than Sean did, and he bought a lot more Theed than I did. These are tougher to open than usual, but that's fine. It means they probably haven't been opened already. Sean, did you ever see that video I had where I opened that first anthology and everything was opened in it?
Yeah,
Okay.
That was a little bit of a disappointment, to say the least.
It was at least an experience, though. But, at first I thought that they had just gotten old and brittle, but when you start to realize what happened, it was pretty rough. So starting out with the docking bay. Okay, pretty good uncommon. Basically the Nabrin leads of Episode 1. Could help you evacuate a site or go to a site. For the longest time I thought this was an uncommon because the dark side version is an uncommon, but canceling Imperial Barrier is a pretty big deal. I'm guessing we're coming up on our rare soon. Now, Sean, I think you had an opinion about Naboo sites and the Coruscant set as opposed to the Theed Palace set.
It was a disappointment, to say the least, that all the Naboo sites are in Coruscant when you only buy a Naboo booster box and no Coruscant.
Yeah, and back then, Coruscant commons were pretty hard to get, so even though this is a common, gosh, I don't know when you got one of these is.
I believe I traded a lot of rares to a certain friend.
Oh, I doubt it was rares. That seems an unfair characterization. I'd like that stricken from the record. Okay, and here's our rare. It's not always great to get an effect rare in Coruscant, but this is one of the better ones, and it's a pretty useful card. Makes retrieval harder. So when I beat Sean in a pod race, I at least have to pay for it. Cool looking card.
I think the paying for retrieval was definitely a way to balance it a little bit that was needed.
For sure, yeah. Just a cool looking planet, and it's nice they made a planet that was better if you want to pod race, even though pod racing wasn't that great. Just to tie it in, something they mentioned for one conversation at the table on Tatooine. That's one of the nice things about Star Wars cards is they built out all these backstories for things, and especially the Cantina aliens, even though a lot of those, I guess, had previous West End games backstories. And ending with another site. So not a great Coruscant pack, but hey, if you're going to get an effect, might as well get that one. I'll step off to the side for a bit while Sean does Feed and Reflections 1. Let's see. So you bought, was it 1 or 2 boxes of these?
It was just one.
Okay, but it was a pretty good box.
Yeah, I think for the most part, almost one copy of every rare.
Nice.
2 Darth Sidiouses.
Okay. Well, you started out good. That's a pretty good common. About a $5 card these days because everyone wants to get out Boss Nass's Chambers with it.
Oh wow! I will need to look at how many of these I have.
Now, as we all know, Sean loves Gungans, so the fact that it started out with 2 Gungan cards, he's over the moon. It's actually not a rare, even though it's one that I thought would be back in the day. Okay. And again, not the best rare to get, but kind of solidly in the middle. And a couple battle droids to close out with. A lot of cool battle droid images, and instead of being things that get shredded by Jedi in a couple seconds, they're somewhat decent in the game. Now this is the one we probably opened the most of, right? It was a box a year for a while.
Yeah, I think I opened up 5 or 6 boxes of Whiteboarder Premiere though when it was $15 a piece, I believe. I picked them up for.
Wow.
And I just opened up Whiteboarder Premiere for about a week.
Nice. And you had some weird distribution there, like you didn't get any of like certain rare one interrupts, but you got like multiple Vaders.
Yeah, I think even after 6 boxes, I was still missing 3 or 4 cards. And
Okay.
I don't think I ever got a Millennium Falcon, but
Interesting.
yeah, I got 3 or 4 Vaders and a lot of other interesting things.
All right. Nice thing about Reflections is you can pretty much get anything, especially with the special edition cards. Sometimes you get a starter deck in there, so you get 2 rares in a row. And it kind of goes in reverse order, it looks like. Okay, so we get a rare out in the wild. It's Jabba's Paris rare, but a rare still. Cloud City dudes. Got to be coming up on our foil soon.
I always enjoyed that you could actually get Black Border Premiere on this.
For sure. Yeah.
Considering by the time we played, it was you mainly only ever saw white border.
Mm-hmm. All right, pretty good uncommon to get.
And that's not too bad. Another rare.
Yeah. Well, actually, I think he's an
Or
uncommon.
is
I
it
think he's an
uncommon?
uncommon
Okay.
one. Yeah. And our full Skywalkers. All right. So not too many interrupt foils, but hey, it's not a random alien, and it's a pretty useful card. Not a bad foil image. Oh my goodness, it's a medium transport. I won't mention that I once traded a concussion grenade for one of those to Sean.
I don't think the medium transport was a white border, though.
Okay, it might not have
Yeah.
been. All right. So, not a bad Reflections pack. Not always do you get a rare in there. And we'll close it up with a Reflections 2 and a Reflections 3. Now, Reflections 2 is usually the set that I have the least amount of, I guess you'd say, optimism for. just because you can get, some kind of effect and then an Admiral's Order that isn't too good as your premium card and then a not too good combo card. So, anything nice, anything halfway decent counts as a good Reflections 2-pack. And of course, you can always get the ultra rare foils in there too, but as the name suggests, they're not that common.
And I actually, with the premium cards, I thought it was actually one of the higher points for the card game, where they definitely expanded it to some of the characters that you only saw in the video games or books.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, there's a pretty good, but yeah, things are getting. They had a Mara Jade in here, basically all the Timothy Zahn book characters, which I don't know if I read before the set, but I at least knew who they were. Do you think you read them before this came out?
I believe I did, so
Okay.
I was pretty excited with Thrawn and some of the other characters.
Nice. And I think all the cards are the same rarity. I actually have no idea. I've never seen Reflections 2 sheet, but there's 54 cards, so let's see, 54 divided by 2 is, 27? So I guess we have a 1 in 27 chance of getting a Thrawn. But I get ahead of myself. We have to get through the glorious white border premiere and Jabba's Palace first. Ishi Tib. Always wanted to make them in a rep deck. That used pile, kind of like the C-3PO from Tatooine. It's a pretty good text, but they can't fight for anything. Thorians. Okay. So foil came a lot earlier than I expected. That's a Baron Fell foil. And pretty good TIE Interceptor pilot. And I believe this is a super rare foil. So you're not always going to get one of those. But hey, you can do a lot worse than Reflections 2 packs. This is a pretty good pack already. Some Cloud City now. Okay, so that's our expanded universe card, Mercenary Armor. Not too bad. Lets you fire blasters for free. And then you're going to have a combo card. Not a bad card if you want to play free immediate effects. I think I'm kind of short on this one. And I think our Japanese card is next. Probe Telemetry. So this is the backing card for the Probot. So seems like I get mostly Dark Side Hoth for my Reflections too. I think I want to say I have... It's probably 80% Dark Side Hoth. I'm not sure what that's about. Sean, did we ever play operative decks against each other? Do you recollection? I don't know if...
I don't think we really did a whole lot. I think we had a couple... the guy who taught us how to play the game had an interesting operative deck.
Okay.
I think it was Sand Speeders.
Right, yeah, Sand Speeders, and I don't know how that would have
I
worked.
think he reacted away from battles or used those to keep them so he could force drain but still could move away.
Gotcha, okay. I think that might have been when I didn't know what reacting was, so I don't remember that. But I do remember something about Sand Speeders and Desert and the operatives.
And I think that was actually the first time that we ever saw the objective cards as well.
Right, double-sided cards, my goodness.
Since those were rares, and I don't think we really had too many of those, at least initially.
No. Probably the first objective card I got would have been from Reflections 2, the Watch Your Step.
Probably.
It's probably the first one I got. Oh, thank you. And we'll close with Reflections 3. So lots of good stuff you can get in Reflections 3. Kind of the reason they're a over $100 pack nowadays. In a lot of places again. This one had a little bit of a bending on the back, so that's why we're going to open this one at least. But let's see. This is a set I did buy quite a lot of. There was a baseball card store about 5 minutes from where I lived, and kind of in the town that I grew up next to. So after school, sometimes I would actually be able to go down there and get picked up from there after buying a couple packs or playing Axis and Allies or buying Axis and Allies down there. That was the big game then too for me. Thanks. All right, so always good to start out with White Border Premiere. Imperial, I don't think we ever really played barriers against each other that much. I don't recall getting barriered. I just remember getting Force Drain for 10 at the Droid Workshop.
I think that only happened 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, but it's nice to have a game-ending drain on to like turn 4. Okay, so there's a pretty good uncommon to get.
That was definitely one of my favorites.
Pretty good ambush card. That was back when there's a lot of cards that, I might not have known exist, you might not have known existed because we didn't have full collections, so it was true surprise. Nikto.
Although we normally played it the wrong way the first time, and then the other person pointed it out, and
Whoops. Okay, so that's our foil. I was trying to put it to the back, and I ended up seeing it was a sight. So sorry about that, Sean, what you're saying?
normally with some of those more obscure cards, we would play it, think it does one thing, and then the other person would read it.
Yeah. I don't remember getting into any heated rules arguments, but I think there was just a lot of general confusion.
There may have been a month or two period that we didn't talk about.
Maybe. If there was, I don't remember it, though. But hey, anything can happen. All right, so we're getting up onto premium cards. The foil wasn't great. It was a very rare foil. But, okay, Cloud City. Premium cards, you can get lots of good stuff. Okay, so this is a decent effect. It's the original starting effect. Now it's been virtualized into a Jedi Helper. But we'll see if we can't get a main character in here. There is a decent amount of... it's another effect. And it's another decent effect to get. Ewok Celebration. Makes me wonder what the last one's going to... it's an Interrupt. And Dark Rage. This is kind of a Rough Reflections 3-pack. But, hey, we got a hobby in here. Pretty good pilot. So the last 3 cards are not bad at all. Pretty nice to add a Battle Destiny by firing any weapon you want. And again, that's probably one we didn't have enough of for it to make much of an impact in the game. Of course, Battle Destiny back then, since we didn't play with attrition, was just about power. But anyways, yeah, that would be it for our last pack. I had a good time opening these with Sean, and hope you guys had a good time watching us. Any last words, Sean?
Take care.
All right. Thanks for watching.